Okay, so a new recording. I'm gonna have to speak quite quietly. I've got no music playing, so you should be able to pick up on my voice, okay? If you can't hear me, because maybe you're listening in a public place or something, just put your speaks on, you know that. Now, I've just been researching about the differences between a psychopath, a sociopath, and a narcissist. A lot of boys and girls, I use that term loosely. We're talking late teenage, mid teenage, late teenage. So, not really boys and girls, more men and women. They grow up so quick these days, don't they? Get very scared in their relationships. Oh shit, he's a nutter. Fucking hell, he's a pervert. Shit. Oh no, I fucking started dating a psychopath. Common. Now, of course, the younger children have partly been prepared for this. Think of the animagus in Harry Potter. Well, could turn himself or herself into an animal at will. But it could go horribly wrong. You see, you play around with your mind, or you play around with someone else's mind or someone else's heart. They could take it the wrong way and learn ways to cope with that. The human species is a wonderful species. We learn how to cope, both as societies and individuals. But some ways of coping don't make sense to society. I mean, think about this. And like, from the video I saw, which you can watch, it's called Medcare, I think, the channel. A young Indian doctor teaching about sociopathy and psychopathy and narcissism. Just to clarify a few matters, it is rather a spooky video. But they're spooky subjects, aren't they? I mean, you don't really want to go out with a narcissist. If they fancy themselves more than they fancy you, do you really want to be with them? Much less a sociopath or psychopath that has no emotion. But a psychopath is born. Now, if they're born, we presume it's genetic. You can inherit mental illness. It is possible. Psychopathy is an extreme example, but many other mental illnesses you can actually inherit. You're born with them. Autism, if we can class that as a mental illness, you're generally born with it. Something happened either in the womb or in your genetic makeup that means you are born ill. If we can call it ill. Now we're getting into this dangerous territory of definitions. Anyway, enough of that. Now, what I want to talk about is sociopaths. Those that learn to be nutters, that can't feel emotion. Those that have been hurt so much that they can't cope with the emotion anymore, so completely block out all emotion forevermore. What on earth would bring someone to never want to experience emotion? I mean, okay, if it's all pain, you want to be free of the pain, don't you? That's why we take paracetamol or heroin. We want to be free of the pain. But you get rid of the negative pains, you lose the positive joys. We see that in paracetamol addiction or heroin addiction. We see the complete destruction of all forms of joy when the hope was just to dull the pain. So a sociopath learns to block out all emotion, and they can never recover. Not even with treatment, apparently. Why is this important? It's important because a lot of people are interested in the likes of Twilight and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and that's quite innocent in many ways compared to Twilight. Many people are interested in Stranger Things and some far more disturbing TV programs and films. Here's Dark Matters by some author that was an atheist and thought he'd make out that God was an evil being. And that's blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. He'll never be forgiven. That guy's fucked himself up straight off. Sorry about the words, but these things don't offend me. Now, Harry Potter is fairly innocent. J.K. Rowling has been criticised hugely amongst the Christian community because she's a Christian and she was writing about witchcraft, and actually, from what I've seen, I'm not well versed in the Harry Potter films or books, but from what I've seen, she got an awful lot of things right about the nature of real witchcraft. But she contains these warnings in her books, doesn't she? The animagus spell can go horribly wrong. See, it's okay playing a part of an animal for a while. It's okay transforming yourself into a little mouse or transforming yourself into some sort of raging bull for a little while. But it can go horribly wrong and you end up a sociopath. There's a saying in my country, and you better stop pulling that face, because if the wind changes you'll be stuck with it for life. It's very true. If you do something habitually for long enough and then something happens, then you're stuck with that habit. Now I wear a robe. Well, I'm a wizard, of course I wear a robe. Some people call it a dressing gown. They're lunatics, man. They're nutters. Absolute nutters. Of course it's not a dressing gown. Only a lunatic would walk around the streets in a dressing gown. Fucking freaks. Bloody hell, how dare you judge me like that? It's a habit I've picked up. In a way, it's a little habit, isn't it? A bit of a monk's habit. But I don't want to pick up the habit of running around like a lunatic my entire life. So the animagus spell can go horribly wrong. Now, there's a saying in the anti-gambling community, when the fun stops, stop. Now I'm trying to stop, but some people think I'm a terrorist, some people think I'm a sociopath, some people think I'm a thief, some people think I'm a murderer, some people think I'm a paedophile, and they spread this about like the plague. I have evidence that they do. This isn't paranoia here. Plenty of people have told me what they're saying about me. I'm not making it up. It's just I don't spread tales unless they're fictitious. So I'm in trouble with the police and I could go to jail for a long time. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm thinking of running away, but I doubt I'll do that. They always catch up with you in the end, and then it's worse. So I'm trying to set my lawyer together, even though I have no money to pay him, and legal aid has largely been stopped. So I'm going to have to go with a second-rate lawyer, and just hope that my second-rate lawyer is at least middle-rate. Meanwhile, I spend my life being judged for being a terrorist and a sociopath and a paedophile, as if.